Everybody, this is John and welcome to the free video. So this is some crazy volatility that we're having in these markets. This is the S&P futures, which of course represents the S&P 500 stocks just with it's the futures. So it also represents the 24-hour session. I like this because it gives the most accurate trend and it takes into account the 24-hour market, the overnight session, the Asia session. So we got two primary trends going on here. One, or this peak we got in September. Since then, we've just had steadily declining where we're making a series of lower lows and lower highs, okay? But now, since October 8th, this is accelerated to the downside, and we've got a nice clean channel. So on the one hand, this seems like this is like this crazy moves. They're unpredictable, but what it is, it's compressed volatility. So we're getting these crazy moves down to the bottom of the channel, and then retracement rallies back to the top, and crazy moves down, retracement back, crazy move down. You know, we've got some support here from prior levels, and then today, bam, we came exactly to the bottom of the channel, about peak volume, peak panic, and then we rallied back up the top. So the question is everything, you know, fine here? Is all well and good? Well, there's a couple of problems. So after market hours, Netflix reported earnings, and this is one of the generals. This is one of the leaders of the stock market, a $448 stock. After hours reported earnings, and it's down $120 a share. That's 4 times the expected move. So the expected move was $28, either up or down. It's 4 times that. I've actually never seen that. So there's a couple of things happening today that I've never seen. So that was one. The other one was the bond market. Okay, bond market. I've never seen it move 5 points before. This is a nice contained kind of a market. That's complete pure panic is represented by TLT. So that's the ETF where you can participate in it. Look at that volume explosion. So the question comes, what's going to happen with this market if something like Netflix, where it hit its earnings, it actually beat its earnings, but just had a little bit of a decline in subscriber growth, it gets thrown out, you know, essentially taken out back behind the woodshed and beat with a 2x4. So what do you do in this kind of a market? Well, as you can see here, a lot of the key stocks like Amazon, et cetera, also here, we closed here at 306, 305.97 after hours down here, and that's going to get impacted as well. So in this kind of market, when it's panicking like this, what I have found is that, first of all, if you chase the market, it is about the worst thing that you can get into. Instead, you're doing a little bit of the opposite, especially when you're selling options premium, okay? So at the bottom of these channels, this is where you can go out 1, 2, and even 3 standard deviations and sell put premium. Okay, right now the put premium is rich. The VIX has exploded, and a lot of people don't know about this. But you can go out 3 times the expected move, and there are fat premiums there to sell. Because remember, there's people down here panicking, and they don't know what to do. So they're paying whatever they can for these options. Well, 3 standard deviations, that's a 99% chance of expiring worthless, and we can take the opposite side of that trade and collect that premium. But at the same time, when we rally back up to the top of these channels, we can go up here and also sell call premium. That's the easiest way to navigate these markets, and just keep in mind that what the VIX is telling us, and if we come back over here and we look at the VIX is telling us, in this kind of a situation, we got a squeeze. You can see the last squeeze we got here, and we popped up. This time we've got a little bit bigger one, and the reason for that is that we have a weekly squeeze that's triggered off. The last time we had a weekly squeeze that triggered off in the VIX, okay, you can see this one here, we got up to about 45. So the question is this over yet? And my answer is no. So I do think at this point the markets have corrected 10%. That's the first time we've seen a 10% correction in 3.5 years. That's normal. I think we can get to 20%. So don't get aggressive about buying the dip here, but you also don't want to chase it short, because these short covering rallies can rip your head off. You can play these conservative. You don't have to get too aggressive. Sell that premium at extremes, okay? All right, so one other kind of a little different thing that I want to tell you guys about. So it was interesting. We just did the Las Vegas seminar. And the seminar we did there was a lot of fun. This is at the Mandarin Oriental in Vegas, and we spent a lot of time going over trading plans, reversion to the mean, and just a fantastic seminar. And it was a great group, and it was great talking to everybody. What was interesting though is I was talking to someone, and I think it may have been Tom, but in the audience, and I always like to ask people like, hey, what do you do, when you're not trading? And he had just mentioned something and said, well, I sell these. I was able to quit my job because I get this ancillary income from selling foam rollers on Amazon. And I'm like, oh, okay, how'd you do that? And he said, well, with this company called Amazing Selling Machine. I was like, oh, I've heard of those guys. They actually live in Austin. I actually have met them through some of my mastermind groups, just for general business and things like that too. And I kind of asked him some stuff, and he really liked it and thought it was great. And so I thought that was interesting. Now, this is not something that I do, but I've actually run into a number of people who do this. So for anyone, again, completely random, and if you're interested in kind of what they do, and if you're interested in setting up an ancillary income, here's a little bit more information on them. So this is a quick shot of a seminar that they recently did, also in Las Vegas, actually a couple of months ago, and there were like 2,800 people there. So they actually have a worldwide following and people that follow them all over the place. Like, I had no idea. I've had dinner with them, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you guys were such a big deal. One of the guys, Matt, this is something that he made a living doing on Amazon, and I thought it was kind of cool. He just would set up these products, and he figured out how to drive people and get reviews and all that kind of stuff, and was able just to make a living doing this. And then his business partner, Jason, also kind of does the same thing. And I was just like, okay, well, this is pretty awesome. And called him up and asked him a little bit about, all right, what is this? What do you guys, how does this work, and different things like that. And so it's to me, and looking through it and being able to talk through it, it's one of those, it's a nice alternative if you're looking for kind of an alternate source of revenue. For example, if you're working a job and you want to trade full time, this is an avenue where you can kind of set it up. They'll show you how to go through, do a product, and you can sell through Amazon. And the goal, of course, is creating an income where you have enough money coming in to pay the bills that you don't have to worry about it, and then you can focus on trading. So that's the deal. So at the end of this, I was just going to link to a page. It's going to go to a video where these guys are going to kind of talk about what they do. And so we'll put some glasses there and some glasses there. And, again, I know this is not, if you're not interested in something like this, no big deal. Like, don't click on the link. If this is something that's intriguing to you, I have heard about it enough from people that this is legit. They are going to show you some things that you can do, and if you want to step it up from there, they have a course that you can take, okay? Again, if I didn't know these guys, if I had not heard feedback from them, there is no way on earth that I would even be showing this to you. But this is something where now I'm like, hey, wow, we actually have a couple of our own clients that are doing this. So for anybody else who's interested, that's fine. Okay. So hope that helps. You guys have a good trading day. Remember, there's a plane trade tomorrow. I'll be heading up to Toronto and texting out things as I see them. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you at the next update.